Naoya Mukai's crazy love story began quite normally. After pursuing Saki Saki, his childhood friend, he finally got her to notice him. After years of trying, from elementary school to high school, Saki agreed to be his girlfriend. Naoya, a guy so honest it was almost a sickness, was over the moon with happiness. Everything seemed to be going wonderfully until one day after class, while Saki was joking about being unfaithful, he, who couldn't even imagine such a thing, hugged her with all his might in public. That was just a preview of how absurdly sincere he was going to be in making decisions. But fate, as always, had other plans. That same afternoon, alone on the rooftop, Naoya was approached by Nagisa Minase, a super cute first-year girl who, just like that, declared her love for him. He, though taken aback, couldn't deny that Nagisa was gorgeous. She told him she had been preparing for months, taking great care of herself and taking cooking classes. Also, he would notice her. Naoya was moved by such dedication, but of course he already had Saki, so he got himself into a real mess with his feelings. His solution, as sincere as it was strange, was to propose to Nagisa that she go with him to ask Saki for permission to date both of them. To the surprise of anyone with half a brain, Nagisa accepted. When they found Saki, Naoya introduced her to the new girl. Saki, with an unbelievable innocence, said Nagisa was charming and even proposed they be friends. They went to karaoke to get to know each other better. And there they realized Nagisa wasn't a very good singer and wasn't good at sports either, but when it came to cooking, she cooked like a dream. It was then that Naoya, very seriously as if he were dictating a law, dropped his incredible request on Saki. He wanted to be boyfriends with both of them. His argument, with a logic that he believed was flawless, was that dating in secret would be cheating, and he couldn't do that. Saki, as expected, hit him and told him he was crazy. Nagisa, who didn't want to be rejected and was super in love, supported the idea and begged Saki to accept. After arguing for a good while, and with Naoya practically begging on his knees, Saki accepted, though she was already regretting it inside. To make the pact official, Naoya suggested the three of them live together in his house, saying he lived alone, and so there wouldn't be a problem. Nagisa said yes right away, super excited. Saki, feeling there was no turning back, also accepted. Thus began a very strange cohabitation. Nagisa cooked, Naoya did the housework, and Saki tried to understand the whole whirlwind. A chat in the bathroom uncovered Nagisa's insecurities, who was afraid of being a burden, and also that Saki and Naoya hadn't gotten to that yet. This made Saki ask Naoya what he planned to do with Nagisa now that they were a threesome. Naoya's brutally honest answer was that he did plan to be intimate with Nagisa and even with both of them together. This hit Saki's self-esteem hard as she compared herself to Nagisa's body. Seeing her so down, Naoya promised not to do anything with either of them, which Saki, in another misunderstanding, took as him no longer desiring her either. The night brought more problems for Saki, who felt left out. Nagisa, on the other hand, showed that she loved him a lot, unconditionally, willing to do anything to be with Naoya. This surprised Saki, who saw in Nagisa not only that she was cute and had a good body, but also a passion that Naoya might like even more, which made her fear being sidelined. Her suspicions grew stronger when she saw that Naoya had laid out futons for them to sleep together, thinking it was the beginning of her worst nightmares. But the truth was simpler. Naoya just wanted them to get along better. To calm Saki, he even offered ideas as crazy as getting surgery to remove his manliness, which obviously Saki rejected in horror. Pretending to be asleep in the dark, Saki saw Nagisa ask Naoya to cuddle a bit. The conversation they had afterward, full of double entendres about getting to know each other more deeply, put Saki on alert. When she spied, she only saw them, holding hands. With the excuse that she also felt lonely, she joined the hug, and the three of them slept together, with Saki watching closely. The next morning, Nagisa, while making breakfast, thought about how strange her situation was. Although she liked the idea of the three-way relationship, she worried that Saki would become increasingly uncomfortable and ask to end everything, which would leave her out. Determined to be indispensable and wanting to get to know them better, she dared to check their phones while they slept. On Saki's, she found that she had searched for things about her first time, and a Twitter account where Saki said Nagisa was very cute and that she would like to get along better with her, which reassured Nagisa a bit. But just then, Naoya and Saki woke up and caught her with Saki's phone in her hand. Naoya, in a clumsy attempt to be a gentleman, took the blame and earned a good punch from Saki. During breakfast, Saki, pretending not to remember anything, asked Nagisa what class she was in. It turned out they were in the same one, but no one had seen her because she had been absent for 3 months preparing her plan to make Naoya fall in love. Naoya, feeling guilty, offered to help her with her studies, but Nagisa was a disaster at studying. After failing to solve an equation, she went into the bathroom for half an hour, returning very self-assured, but without reason, because she failed again. Naoya, patiently, told her he would help her as much as needed. Nagisa went back to the bathroom, and this time she stayed for 3 hours. Returning to classes brought more trouble. Saki ordered Naoya to treat Nagisa as if he didn't know her to keep their polyamorous relationship a secret. Naoya didn't want to, but Nagisa understood it was necessary. Alone and friendless from being absent so long, Nagisa wandered the hallways, and everyone wondered who she was. Naoya, who couldn't stand to see her so sad, tried to approach her discreetly, but seeing Nagisa's sorrowful face, he was about to tell everyone everything. Saki stopped him with a wrestling hold and dragged him to the rooftop. There, Naoya argued that he couldn't leave Nagisa alone. Saki understood, but she was afraid of what people would say. Just then, Nagisa appeared, saying she would be fine, and offering them the lunch she had prepared, because she planned to eat alone in the bathroom. Naoya and Saki felt very sorry for her and agreed to have lunch together in secret. They dismissed the dirty bathrooms outside the school and another women's bathroom, from which they saw Naoya exit, starting more gossip, and finally found a hiding spot in an old storage room. There, with Naoya confessing how selfish he was, they were finally able to eat. Lunches in the storage room became a habit, until Nagisa's dedication started to bother Saki, who felt like a bad girlfriend. She tried to compete in the kitchen, but it was a disaster and she burned everything. Sinking into sorrow and feeling the least loved, she tried a risky move, seducing Naoya at night. He, true to his strange way of being honest, rejected her so as not to lie to Nagisa. Saki, devastated, thought it was because of her physique and, leaving a note, went to her parents' house, who lived right next door. Naoya, desperate to get her back, spent 3 sleepless days trying to get her forgiveness. He wrote her a letter that looked more like a work report, put money into her gacha game, showered her with her favorite pastries, recorded videos of cute puppies and kittens, and even did all her homework. Nothing worked. Nagisa, seeing him so down, asked if she wasn't enough. He told her it wasn't that all he wanted was for both of them to be happy. Those words reached Nagisa, who remembered why she had fallen in love with him and offered to help him reconcile with Saki in a very strange and uncommon way, by letting Saki see them in a compromising pose. The tactic, though absurd, worked. Saki jumped through the window. Naoya took the opportunity to talk to her. Saki admitted she felt inferior. Naoya repeated that he loved her very much, and Nagisa said she understood and wanted to support him. Finally, Naoya acknowledged the burden it was for him to be solely responsible for that relationship. And so, amidst tears and truths, the strange couple of 3 found a new equilibrium. With peace restored, and while Naoya recovered from his lack of sleep, Saki and Nagisa tried to become better friends by playing Saki's gotcha game. Nagisa, although she had played before, was terrible at it. This, to Saki's surprise, was a relief and even fun, because she found something she was better at than her rival, and her clumsiness also seemed cute to her. Trying to improve, Nagisa looked for tutorials and found a VTuber, Mirika, whom people criticized for showing too much skin to get views and for being bad at games. In a video thumbnail, Naoya realized Mirika wore their school uniform, but they didn't know who she was because she cut. The next day, in the storage room, while they were eating, they saw that Mirika had changed the thumbnail, which confirmed she was from their school. Saki ironically mocked how indiscreet the VTuber was, boasting about how well she kept the secret of her complicated love life. Just then, Mirika herself entered through the same window. Sensing they were doing weird things, and thanks to Naoya's big mouth, as always, it didn't take long for her to discover the truth about their polyamorous relationship. Mirika tried to use the information to blackmail them. Naoya, scared to death, offered her his savings, an amount Mirika rejected as ridiculous. It was then that Nagisa recognized her as the VTuber, with a copy of the compromising thumbnail as proof. The situation changed. Saki threatened to reveal Mirika's secret if she didn't keep theirs. When it seemed they had reached an agreement, Mirika dropped a bombshell. She also wanted to be Naoya's girlfriend. She said she needed someone to protect her from stalkers and highlighted her obvious physical charms. Naoya, who had seen her streams, acknowledged she was pretty, but rejected her offer. Mirika, who had never been rejected before, was stunned. He tried to explain that his commitment was to Saki and Nagisa. Desperate to convince him, Mirika took off her sweater, saying her G-cup was much better. But Naoya stood firm, saying that the cup size of the girl you like is always the best. Although Mirika felt defeated for a moment, she didn't give up. Seeing the trio leave, and after accidentally overhearing they lived together, she caught up with them and announced she would camp out with him until he realized she was the ideal girlfriend, even offering to pay her own expenses. Keeping her word, the next day a tent adorned Naoya's yard. Mirika had arrived to stay. Naoya, with a bit of sarcasm, praised her idea for not living under the same roof. She, unfazed, warned him that he would regret rejecting her and that she would force him to fall in love. The trio discussed the situation, thinking Mirika wouldn't last through bad weather. However, the first night it rained, it was cold, and bugs appeared. Naoya asked her to give up, repeating his love for Saki and Nagisa. But Mirika proved she was super persistent. She bought top-notch camping gear, got rid of the bugs, and paid for everything with new streams, where, according to her, she showed more personality than body. To fight the cold, she exercised non-stop all night, motivated by the thought of the faces they would make if she gave up. At dawn, exhausted but victorious, and after receiving her online purchases, Mirika asked Naoya what he thought of her when she got serious. He, with his usual tact, could only say she urgently needed a bath. She, without making a fuss, improvised a shower and cleaned herself up, leaving the three of them impressed by how stubborn she was. That night, Saki devised a new plan to keep Naoya from thinking about Mirika: a double seduction session in the bathroom. The plan went a bit haywire. Nagisa slipped and her charms collided with Naoya. Saki, in full competition, imitated her and accidentally dropped her towel, revealing her deepest feelings. After the incident, Naoya asked them what he thought of Mirika. Saki's only strategy was still seduction. Nagisa, though hesitant, concluded they should continue to make Naoya fall more in love with them. He, understanding their intentions, looked at Nagisa, who, for the first time, told him to his face that he was a pervert.